Thank you, sir. I would like to, at the onset, appreciate the valuable suggestions given by every member of Parliament and also for the unanimous support given to this bill. Today, I speak with a little bit of a conflicting emotion, sir. I had a learned man say in this House that he envied me, a man that I have deep respect for, a senior, Saugata Royji. He spoke, presumably, about two books written by Anne Ryan, one, Atlas Shrugged, and two, Fountainhead. Presuming possibly, and I say the word presuming possibly, that I might not have been blessed with an opportunity to read either. So while I do not express the anguish of the protagonist Howard Roark, let me say this, sir, that there have been question marks which have been put forth with regards to what education policy is being envisaged, rather than pertaining discussions by certain members only to the elements of the bill. Mr. Ray was kind enough to accept that he did not get into the depths of the bill and hence used his time judiciously to mount a personal attack, which I have absolutely no problems about. There was a time where Albert Einstein said that science without religion is lame. Thankfully, he did not have to pass through the scrutiny of Saugata Da. Otherwise, he would have to wonder today whether he is secular or communal. There are some contentious issues, though, that have been raised with regards to scientific temper. आज इस सदन में भगवान के होने का प्रमाण मांगा गया, लेकिन मेरे पास जिम्मेदारी प्रभु के होने का प्रमाण का नहीं, ज्ञान का संचार कराने का है. Scientific temper vis-à-vis the ministry has been questioned today. I have access to certain articles where my predecessors refused to get into office without getting the Vastu checked first. I'm sure Saugata Da can be having the time to peruse the same articles. But the intention here is not to create a contentious environment. The intention here is to carry forward a consensus on issues which are extremely important to our students. And it is very famously said that we shape our buildings and thereafter they shape us. So where Mr. Ramachandran spoke about the architectural glories of the very building in which this bill is being debated, I, as a member of Parliament, sir, extend my compliments to a youngster who defines what new Indian politics is all about. Gaurav Gogoi, my compliments for your speech in Parliament today. My compliments because you spoke with passion on issues pertaining to education. You made some charges on me. I do not accept the same. One of the charges was that we have turned IITs into a vegetarian complex. I would like to, through you, sir, tell my learned friend and young friend that the IIT students in Delhi explained and in fact expressed their anguish at the high cost of non-vegetarian food, and it was stopped in April 2014, much before I took office.
Oh, my goodness.
In fact, the IITs are exploring through 3 organizations or individuals the possibility of providing non-vegetarian foods to its students. These are decisions that I do not interfere with. There have been mentions made about legacy of education in our country. We paid obeisance to Pandit Nehru. A member here paid obeisance to Rajiv Gandhi ji, and also how the education policy was crafted by certain leaders. I do not in any way deny their contribution to the Indian political system or, for that matter, the Indian educational system. But when I am accused of only upholding Sanskrit because I am saffron, I would like to remind my learned friends that I was upholding an aspect of the national policy on education as envisaged by Sri Gandhi, which spoke of the 3-language formula. It is, but it is a law of the land now. I uphold an MOU. It's a question that the House should answer, which says German is the 3rd language of India. Can I, as a representative of our nation, sign that? In true honesty, I cannot. The only thing I can do is to ensure that children in our schools and colleges have access to Indian and foreign languages. And I tell you, sir, today, let this House know that apart from German, French, Japanese, Mandarin is continued to be taught in Kendriya Vidyalayas. So while everybody seeks to embrace legacies, let's even embrace this. For if we don't embrace our languages, who will? We embrace Maulana Azad, we embrace Pandit Nehru, we embrace the legacy of Rajiv Gandhi, but this is also the 900th year of Bhaskaracharya. Would we leave our legacy behind when it's inconvenient? So the question that needs to be asked today is that when we talk about scientific temper, what is that we attribute to that thought process? Mr. Gogoi spoke about a need to inculcate that temper in our youngsters. There are concerns that the learning outcomes from grade 6 to 8 in science and maths have fallen to as below as 30%. And addressing that concern, a whole week will be dedicated to maths in our country in the week preceding the 22nd of December, which is the National Mathematics Day. We call that week Ganit. Ganit, for it is the growing aptitude for numerical innovation and training. And through this, we're trying to infuse innovations in numeracy, innovation in mathematics, and help increase scientific temper. But to complement scientific temper and inquiry-based learning, we are also in the ministry working so that patents, research, and all issues pertaining to science are something that can be strengthened within our institutions and through the efforts of various state governments and agencies in conjunction with the central government. Sir, our members have expressed a concern whether the reservation policy is applicable to these institutions. Let me assure them that it is. Not only for admission of students, but also the reservation structure as being envisaged by an Act of Parliament in IITs, NITs is also applicable to the schools of planning and architecture. There is a mention here whether our faculty can be made world-class. While through the global initiative of academic networks, we have implored to all industry experts worldwide, we are engaging in conversations with nations like the United Kingdom and the United States as to highlight to us who are their best academicians, who can be brought to teach at least one semester at the cost of Government of India and all our central universities, IITs, IIM, and yes, now even the schools of planning and architecture. There was a concern expressed that architecture is not only about building buildings, but also other aspects. I agree. Architecture begins where engineering ends. And it is blessed that in our SPAs we also teach environmental planning. We also teach heritage conservation. There has been a concern expressed as to whether the finances of these institutions will be audited. As in the case of the IITs and the NITs, let me assure the House that at the end of the financial year, the annual report and audit done by the CAG will be laid on the table of the House. There was a suggestion made whether these schools can be made functional in such a fashion that they profit from our students. Sir, since these are institutes of national importance and funded by the Government of India, it is not the intention of Government of India to accrue profits from its own children, from its own citizens. There have been some wonderful suggestions made as to whether students of these institutions can work with our urban local bodies by Mr. Satpathy. Sir, through the Urban Development Ministry and through my own ministry, I will appeal to each state government so that they can look towards prospects of engaging these students at a local level from the perspective of planning and architecture. I would, sir, here, given the exhaustive time we have taken in discussing every detail of this particular bill, also highlight certain international tie-ups that have already been explored and that are already underway in the three institutions. In SPA Delhi, for those who are concerned whether world-class education will be given in these institutions, let it be known that the University of Washington, Architectural Academy UK, the Georgia Tech University, Atlanta, the Norwegian Institute of Technology, the Wells School of Architecture, the Kyoto University, the United Nations University, Tokyo, and the Copenhagen University have already entered into tie-ups with these three institutions. Sir, I've had the privilege of debating in this August House 2 bills before this one. And in those bills as well as this today, I see an air and a cohesive decision to have a situation of consensus. I extend through you, sir, my gratitude to all members of Parliament who are today coming forth and supporting this bill. I see that my senior colleague Arvind Sawantji is bothered about the JJ School of Art. It is a private institution, sir, which receives some funding from the UGC. But within the UGC, we are also exploring possibilities of supporting those institutions which have heritage value. I will go back to my office and with authorities in the UGC explore certain possibilities with regards to the JJ School of Arts. But I cannot give you an assurance, sir, till I study the matter in great detail. Once again, sir, through you, I thank this House.
The question is that the bill be taken to consideration. Those in favor may say aye.
Aye.
Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion for consideration of the bill is adopted. The House will now take up class by class consideration of the bill. The question is that classes 2 to 6 to stand part of the bill. Those in favor may say aye. Aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Classes 2 to 6 stand part of the bill. Sri N.K. Premchandran to move the amendment.
So my amendment is in respect of collection of donation.
Are you moving?
Yep, pardon,
Are you moving your amendment?
Yeah, just I'm moving.
The member has a concern, sir, whether students will be made to give donations. I'm just...
Are you moving?
I'm moving.
Moving, okay.
No, let me... Sir, my apprehension in respect of this amendment is, because there is clause 2 is there that the property of the institution or the school shall never be sold without the prior approval of the central government. So I would like to add another clause, subclause clause 3, because it is a donation. It is being stated not only here in chapter 4 also, the funds of the school, it is also very specifically stated that all money is received by the school by way of grants, gifts, donations, benefication, bequests or transfers. So the reasonable apprehension on my part is that whether donation will be, huge amount of donation will be received from the students, because most of the institutions like this, when they are facing some financial crisis, this way of mobilizing resources, whether it will be applicable in this in the school also, that is my apprehension.
Okay. The question is the amendment number. Okay.
Just, if you permit me to answer, sir, let me assure the member that no donation will be asked for from any student. In fact, in the rules, if anybody does ask for donation, will be severely penalized, is an instruction that I will give.
The question is that amendment number 1, moved by Sri N.K. Premchandran, be adopted. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative.